Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Permanent Record Podcast. My name is Brian.
And I'm Sarah.
And you know, Sarah, we spent the last two episodes, because they were our mini concert memory episodes and we had put the call out for new theme music. We spent those two episodes, we started them by talking about this exciting new theme music, and we mentioned who provided that music. But you know, here in our original format show, the regular episodes of the podcast, I think we take it for granted. We haven't mentioned in quite some time that our friend Tony Miracle of the band Venus Hum was kind enough to record the intro music for us.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad you brought that up because it's true. We were lucky enough quite some time ago now to have Tony rework our theme song for us, and he did an amazing job, as you can hear. And we definitely need to give him more credit for that. So thank you again, Tony, for helping us out and making us sound so good.
Yes, thanks so much. And guys, Venus Hum, if you haven't heard any of our episodes with Tony or with Venus Hum, because we actually talked to the whole band, if you haven't heard those, check out their Bandcamp page. There's a bunch of music there you can listen to and purchase. They're amazing. Their last album, Kindness Rages On, easily one of the best albums of the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. So good. If you haven't checked it out yet, you owe it to yourself to do so.
Ton of good stuff. If you're a fan of synth music, you're going to love it.
Yep.
And if you're not a fan of synth music, why are you listening to this podcast?
Yeah. Are you trying to get yourself into it? Because that's a good thing. You know, we definitely will help you out with that because we love talking about synth pop.
That is the truth. We do indeed. And we're smack in the middle of talking about I guess this is a synth pop classic. The way people have been talking about this album online with us, I think people really love this album, Sarah.
I think so too. We talked about in the first, even maybe the first 2 episodes, how much people wanted us to talk about this album. So here we are talking about it and continuing that discussion.
It's a-ha, Scoundrel Days, their second album, of course, of which I speak. When we last talked about it, I ended the episode by saying, man, these first 3 songs are so good. We may be looking at one of those rare, perfect albums if they can just keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work. And so we're going to find out today. We'll go a little deeper into it and see if they continue.
Oh, boy.
Just being flawless in their work.
Right.
But before we do that...
What?
We were going to have an alarm sound go off here, an emergency sound go off, but we couldn't find a good one.
Do you want me to do one? Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, we have an emergency situation on our hands,
we
folks.
do. Yes, absolutely. We've done this before for Depeche Mode, and now we find ourselves in a position to do it again for the band a-ha, as a matter of fact.
We can't, in good conscience, talk about a-ha without mentioning that they just released a brand new song.
Yeah, what good timing. I mean, we were planning to talk about Scoundrel Days. This weekend, we are going to record our next episode, and just in time for that, a new single drops. Wow, how exciting.
I was super excited, Sarah. I'm really happy to talk about the song here. We've only been listening to the song for 48 hours.
Yeah.
So, there's not a whole history of this tune that we're going to get into, but we can't let the occasion go by without addressing I'm In, the newest single from a-ha.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been online and you haven't heard it yet, here's a little sample so you can just get a taste of what we're going to talk about.
Whatever you want on me, wherever you have to be, whatever you have to believe, I'm in. Begin, never give up.
Oh, yeah, so good, so good. It's so great to hear new music from a-ha, especially music that sounds like that. As we said, this song was just released. It was released on July 8th, and it is the first official single from their upcoming album, True North. So that is very exciting.
That's right. True North is going to be available for sale on October 21st, and it will be the band's 11th album.
That's so awesome. We can't believe they're actually going to do another album. That's crazy. It's good stuff for us, though. And this song, interestingly enough, I think is written by Mags.
It is. And based on what I've read, the album is going to have 12 songs on it. 6 by Paul, 6 by Mags.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not rare that a song is written by Mags. He's been writing songs for years.
Well, no, that's true.
I guess you think of Paul as the main writer, so you think the first single will be a Paul song. But,
Yeah.
Forever Not Yours was a Mags song. So, once again, the first single off the album is by Mags.
Yeah, and he actually did release a demo of this last year on Instagram. And I went out and checked it out on YouTube just to hear what his version was like compared to this new version. And it was very good. But of course, when you get Morton singing instead of Mags, I mean, Mags is a good singer on his own. But boy, Morton, he's just a little bit, a couple notches above Mags in the vocal department.
Morton's a couple notches above everybody almost.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
So the cool thing about True North, something that I really am surprised by, really didn't see this coming, is that True North is not only an album, it's a film.
Right.
That's going to be released, and the film is going to show the band writing and recording this album last year in 2021.
Uh-huh.
They recorded it in a city, which I'll probably mispronounce it because it has an O with a slash through it.
Yeah.
Looks like Bodo to me. That's a city that is 90 kilometers above the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
So they're pretty north,
Yeah, that's really far north.
hence the name of the project, I imagine.
Right.
And the album was recorded with the Arctic Philharmonic,
Yes,
which is kind of cool.
I know.
But yeah, it's going to be 12 songs. No songs by Morton. I saw an interview with Morton, and he was saying that he has sort of come to grips with the fact that Aha is not the place where his songwriting is really going to get a lot of exposure. He saves that for his solo projects now. There were albums where he had 2 songs per album.
Right.
And I always like those songs. I think that he's a pretty good songwriter. His solo album that he worked on with the Pet Shop Boys, one of the songs, I think is a really great album. Has a white cover with his picture on it.
Is it Wild Seed or the
No,
other
Wild
one?
Seed was his first
Okay.
English language solo album.
Okay.
Go search for Morton Harkett album with a white cover with his face on it, and the Pet Shop Boys wrote and produced a song on it with him.
Yeah, I'm sure the search engine will be able to come right up with that answer.
If it helps to take me to those dark extremes, the meaning of your dreams, the way you thought, just talk, I'm listening. Just talk.
I don't know if he was the conductor of this orchestra, but I know that the orchestral arrangement was by, I'm going to try and say this, Kjetil Bjørkestrand. But he has worked with Aha way back from 1994. He started working with them for the Shapes That Go Together single.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was, what do they call them? Stopgap singles. It's not
Yeah.
on any album.
Right.
I think it was
right.
a charity single.
I think it was for like the Paralympics or Special Olympics or something like that.
And
yeah.
that was a Mag song, I believe.
And he has worked separately with Morton and Mags and Paul outside of Aha. So he has, a really good relationship with them. So I'm sure he was a natural choice for this song and the other work that they're doing together. And I love the orchestral arrangements in this song. It's just beautiful.
It sounds amazing. I really like it too. There's so many sections of the song where I'm like, whoa, those strings sound great there.
Yeah.
The whole song has a great sound to it. Not too dissimilar from... See, I hate to say this because I mentioned last time that people should check out the version of I'm Losing You on the Unplugged album.
Uh-huh.
And so many people have commented that they don't like that album.
Oh,
that
really?
Nothing puts them to sleep faster than the word unplugged other than the term singer-songwriter. Like so many comments like that. But it has that same kind of rich sound, but even better,
Yeah.
in my opinion. This song sounds better than what we heard on that Unplugged album. When we saw them in April, they did play 2 songs off of this record. Unfortunately, this wasn't one of them, so this was not one we got to see live. I would have liked to have seen it because it sounds really good.
I know. I agree.
There's a press release that was sent out. It showed up everywhere on Friday, and it has some information about the record, which is where we got this info from. There's also some quotes from Mags, mainly about the song.
Right.
I just wanted to read what he says about the lyrical content of the song.
Oh, good. Yes.
He says that real commitment is a leap of faith. Everyone knows how difficult it can be to offer commitment and support unconditionally, but this is what it takes to make anything worthwhile happen. Easier said than done, of course, but it begins with an attitude, then uttering the words. After this, it is all hard work to realize whatever potential your commitment has in the world. With this attitude, everything just gets bogged down with conflicting thoughts, doubts, and fears. Just say it. I'm in.
Oh.
I guess it's kind of a take on the, The longest journey starts with a single step. If you want to accomplish something great, or if you want to help somebody, you've really got to commit to that.
Yeah.
That idea of I'm in, you have to fully be in.
Right.
And that's what the song is about.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I know he says about a relationship. And of course, as I'm hearing that quote, I'm thinking, wow, I wonder if this was his mindset as he wrestled with the idea of coming back together as a band to record another album.
Yeah, there was a part in that Aha movie that we watched a couple months ago where, he seemed really pained at the thought of going into the studio.
Right.
I think he said he would not do it. He would play live.
Yeah.
But he held his head in his hands, I think, maybe, and said he's not going to do that.
Yeah. So, it seems like this song might have been a reaction to that, or his way of getting himself geared up to do that. I don't know. I might be reading too much into it, but I see what he's saying in this song, and I'm seeing that this is going to be on a new album. So it seems like the ideas are, they kind of go along with that thought.
Of course, it's going to take a commitment from everybody for it to really mean anything. He could go in there super positive and ready to commit to it. And, if the old nonsense rears its head on day one, his commitment isn't going to mean anything.
That's right.
So I guess we'll see in the footage of the film what actually went on behind the doors as they were writing these songs.
We'll see what they let us see anyway.
Right.
And hopefully it'll be really good. And I think it's interesting that the film is going to be released so much earlier than the album itself. Now, how many people will actually get to see it out in the world is still unsure, because they will release it to cinema in selected territories worldwide. So they do plan to do a worldwide release in late summer this year, but I just don't know where yet. So just kind of watch the internet for more information on that. If you want to see this movie before it comes out on October 21st, the same day as the album release, you will be able to rent it and buy it that same day as you can buy the album.
So Sarah, what did you think about the song?
Oh, I thought it was really nice. I can't expect a catchy synth pop dance tune from them at this point, probably. But what I heard was a very, very nice song. It actually reminded me a bit of Dark is the Night for All in the beginning. It has that nice, very kind of quiet, slow beginning. They both have a nice build up to the chorus. I felt in that way they were very similar.
I can see what you're saying about that sound in the beginning. For the first minute or so, I think it does kind of sound like that. But once we get to the point where the drums are going to kick in and Mag starts playing the piano, from that point on, to me, it reminds me of East of the Sun, West of the Moon.
Ooh.
Once we get those guitar, those keyboard, those piano chords in there, I hear a little bit of that. I gotta say, I love the sound of Mags playing piano on Aha songs, which is part of the reason why I love that Unplugged album, and part of the reason why East of the Sun, West of the Moon is my favorite record.
Yeah.
An example of what I really, really love in an Aha song would be the song I Call Your Name on East of the Sun.
The piano in that is
just
beautiful.
Just an amazing piano song. And I think about once we get into a minute into this one, it sort of reminds me of that track.
Okay.
I'd say that this is my favorite Aha song, favorite single since 2009's Foot of the Mountain. Oh,
that's such a gorgeous song. It's such a fun song. I love that one. But yeah, this is a very good one too. I think it's a nice... I keep saying nice. That seems like such a boring word, but I don't know. I get this vibe. It's really good. You know what it actually reminds me of? This is kind of weird, but in the lyrics and the overall atmosphere, it kind of also reminds me of Stay from the new Tears for Fears album, The Tipping Point. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but they both had that kind of air of melancholy, but also support. That's why I feel that they have something kind of similar, that the lines, it's all or nothing, and stay, similar to the concept of I'm in. I don't know. We've been playing that a lot, talking about that band a lot. I think that's why it's in my head.
Yeah, Sarah, if you want to do a podcast about The Tipping Point right now, I'm all for that. I can easily transition over to that. We'll talk about Tears for Fears, and we'll just kind of leave Aha behind.
Oh,
Is that what you want to do?
No.
Because know I'm all in on Tears for Fears after our concert,
I
as I explained in our last episode, the Tears for Fears Tipping Point tour episode.
Yeah, no, I think that's all I'm going to say about Tears for Fears in this episode for now.
We were talking about the strings sounding so good in this
song.
There are a couple of really great, really, really interesting instrumental breaks in the song, and both of them are mainly so good because of the presence of that orchestra. The first one is right in the middle of the track where you would expect a middle 8 section. Here we get a few measures of strings and a change in the tone of the song. Mm-hmm. And there's sort of like a focus on a bell sound that kind of mixes in there. And it just gives it a slightly sinister quality. And I just love the way the song, it doesn't, I don't want to say derails because that has a negative thing. It's going in one direction and then it hits that section. And all of a sudden it just sort of does like a
left turn.
Yeah. I love the abrupt change and then change back to the chorus. I really like that. And then the second interesting instrumental break is closer to the end after you think they're probably done singing. They've done the chorus a couple times and then it goes into an instrumental section. We get this wonderful bit of instrumentation. There's a sound. In there at the start of a measure a few times. When you get to the start of the measure, it sounds a lot of a trick that John Barry used to do in his themes where he would use a Moog synthesizer to just kind of make this real heavy, deep bass sound in the song. He does it on some of the songs on Her Majesty's Secret Service. But at the start of the measure, it just has a sound that reminds me of that. It's a real heavy boom.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Almost like that. A drone.
Yeah. It sounds so good. I was, listening to it and I'm thinking that it's going to fade out and then the chorus comes back and they do another couple times through the chorus. So good. This song is so good. Part of my complaint of the last a-ha album, Cast in Steel, was that it was too mellow. There too many of the songs were too slow and too mellow. And I think the same thing is going to be the case here. I don't see this atmosphere as one that's going to be conducive to upbeat tracks.
Right.
But based on the songs we heard live and based on this video, I think it's going to be so much better than Cast in Steel. I have so much excitement right now about this album that I didn't have about the last one.
Yeah. I think it could still be, more subdued, I guess you could say, but still have more power and energy. Maybe not a lot of kinetic energy, but just, I don't know, some just more texture to it, more interest that will make it more enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, I may listen back to this like a year from now after I know the album really well and say, oh boy, you were certainly a fool to think that this was going to be much better than Cast in Steel. It's just as slow and just as boring. But right now, I'm up for it. I'm in. I'm 100% in.
I'm in.
Yep.
Oh, good. So that's excellent.
What'd you think about the video?
Interesting. It was more interesting to me when I found out that actually is footage from the True North film. I thought, wow, that's crazy. What are we seeing here? It was, a funeral, basically. People saying goodbye to a loved one, interspersed with scenes of the orchestra playing and, of course, members of a-ha themselves playing the song. Also, some very nice landscape footage of the area, which was very nice to see.
Oh, it's very nice to look at. Most of the activity that's not the band is focused around a funeral. But I think that there's a couple seconds in there of other things too. Like there's one scene, very quick scene with a man and a woman that I kind of took to mean like they were sort of falling in love.
I think that was the woman looking at her dead husband probably and remembering back to the time when they just first met. That was what I was thinking was going on there.
All right, I didn't pick up on that. I didn't make the connection. There's that guy carrying the coffin at the end when they're carrying it out. Looks a lot like Roland these days from Tears for Fears with the long white hair and white beard.
I thought that too.
Now, speaking of Tears for Fears, if you're interested in doing a Tears for Fears podcast, Sarah, I'm up for the challenge. We can do it right now.
I'm not the one who brought him up this time.
That's true.
That's funny though. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Either Roland or Sorryman.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's directed by their longtime photographer, collaborator, Stian Anderson.
Okay.
Definitely, he's doing a better job than their collaborator and photographer that we mentioned in the last episode who directed the video for...
I've Been Losing You.
I've Been Losing You.
Yeah.
This video was way better than that.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Mag's hair looks really good in the video. I'm a big fan of his look in this one. I think he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it better than Morton and his man bun.
That was going to be my question for you as we went out here.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, are we going to look back at this and say that Morton's man bun era is better, worse, or just as bad as the late 80s headband era? Which do you think will cause the most embarrassment 20 years from now?
Oh, wow. I still hate that headband. I just don't. I don't know what he's doing there. It's not a good look. He doesn't pull it off well. I don't know. He just looks so disheveled at that point. The man bun, universally at this point is all over the place. I don't know why he doesn't just wear it down. Maybe because he doesn't want to look like he looked when he was wearing the headband. I don't know. I like the man bun better. I think it will probably stand the test of time better. What do you think?
We have a valuable resource at our disposal when it comes to headbands.
Oh, yes, we do.
If we want to know what a man is thinking when he takes the stage wearing a headband, we could reach out to our friend Craig from the Pods and Sods Network, who actually went to a podcast expo and gave away headbands, wore a headband. He's recorded every episode of their podcast wearing a headband. He is the king of headbands. So we could ask him, what exactly goes through your mind, and what do you think goes through other people's minds when they sit down and are captured, on film or on audio, but wearing the headband.
Yeah, he would be a good resource.
He definitely would be. We'll have to see what he thinks.
Okay.
All right, so that is a-ha's new single, I'm In, very briefly. Yeah. Because we've only lived with it for 2 days now.
Right.
If you haven't heard it, go out on YouTube. There's a video for it there on a-ha's official YouTube page.
Right.
And check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, and keep watching for more information on the True North film coming to a cinema near you, perhaps, later this summer.
That would be very cool. All right, so now we are going to jump into Scoundrel Days.
It's about time, huh?
I think it is an appropriate time. I think everything has fallen into place exactly when it should.
Okay, all right.
So I'm not anxious to talk about this next song. This is one that is, let's see, this is track 4 on side 1 where we left off. Yeah,
so we've built up, we've had a wonderful, great 3 songs. First 3 songs on the album, boom, boom, boom. Really exciting, really cinematic. We love them all. Great start. And now we come to song 4, October. I know that throughout this discussion of the album, I've been using the word atmospheric when I talk about this album, kind of in place of the word dark. So I would say that this song has the most atmosphere so far. The sound effects, of course, have a lot to do with that. It really does put you in mind of a sleepless English town of colored gray. And I think October is a perfect title for this song.
The most interesting thing about this song, to me, is that first 45 seconds of the song where the band uses a sound collage to put you right on that street that to establish this atmosphere that you're talking about. It's misty, it's dark, it's going to be warm when the day really starts, but for now it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You get all this courtesy of the musical picture that they paint with their sound effects and their introduction. It's 45 seconds. It's pretty long.
Yeah, it is.
But they do a good job establishing where this song is taking place, the mood of the song, the tone of the song.
They really do.
I mentioned on the last episode that most of these albums in the classic period of a-ha, the first 5 records, starting with this record going all the way to Memorial Beach, they all contain songs that don't fit with the other tracks. Most of the time it's one song. You'll End Up Crying, The Way We Talk, and seemingly Nonstop July on East of the Sun, Locust, and here on this album we get October.
Yes.
And to me, this is the least successful of all of these unusual songs. Out of all of them, this is the one that I want to listen to least, and I probably haven't heard it for many years until we started getting ready for this podcast. Because, Sarah, even when I used to listen to this on cassette, because I mentioned that for a while all I had was the cassette of this. I don't know if we ever established whose it was. I still say that it was yours. But at that point in time, my tape player had that feature where if you're holding down the play button and then hit fast forward at the same time, it'll scan till it finds like an empty space. So you could essentially skip a track there like you could on CD. And I took advantage of that almost every time I listened to this tape because this was not a song I was interested in listening to.
I'm glad you're the first one to say it. But you're not going to be the only one to say it, I'm sorry to say. Yes, they are branching out into yet another musical sound or style here. We talked in the previous episode, the first 3 songs were all kind of different from each other, and different from anything we'd heard so far on the album. And we have that yet again on song 4 of this first side. But what was this style Basically, I would call it adult contemporary or easy listening music. That's what it sounds like to me. I have seen and read comparisons to Burt Bacharach when talking about this song, and I am going to completely agree with that. Those little muted horns that we hear, burp, burp, those things sound exactly like something in a Burt Bacharach song. It's not like I don't like Burt Bacharach songs, but I don't want to hear a Burt Bacharach song on an Aha album. That's just not what I'm looking for. So yeah, I appreciate what they're trying to do. You know, they're branching out, they're showing they have all these talents and they're trying new things, and that's wonderful. I agree with that. I just don't want to hear this song.
I will agree with the adult, what did you say, adult contemporary?
Yeah, easy listening.
Easy listening. Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that label as far as those horns that you mentioned there, the trumpets or whatever. Also agree with it in terms of the keyboard sounds that they're using.
Yeah.
They very much sound like keyboard sounds your parents' artists might use in the 80s.
Right.
It doesn't sound like a young band who is writing popular, songs of the day. It's like a poor choice for the synth voices. That's as far as I'll go with the easy listening, because I can't think of any easy listening artist. I mean, I know plenty of easy listening artists, especially of this time, because of my parents listening to them. Anne Murray, Neil Diamond. Like, nobody in that genre would record a vocal like this.
That's also true.
And in a very strange twist, I never thought this would be the case and that I would be talking about this, but it is Aha's greatest weapon that causes my greatest issues with this song.
Oh.
I don't like Morton's performance at all.
Wow.
I would much rather this be just a cheesy little instrumental. I would maybe occasionally listen to it. Morton's voice is legendary. It doesn't seem like those words should be spoken, but this is not good. That heavy breathing drives me nuts. It's not a good sound. When I have to run our podcast episodes through a compressor to try to fix something in the mix or try to fix a recording, I have to work really hard to get heavy breaths out of the episode then. Because the compressor brings everything, or tries to bring everything to the same level. So all the breaths that you ideally shouldn't hear get amplified. That's not pleasant to listen to. I think everyone would agree if you're listening to a podcast and at the end of every sentence you hear someone go, you get tired of that real quickly. Morton's breathing his way through this entire song, and it drives me nuts.
Wow, you have some strong words. That's really interesting.
It's strong words to claim that you don't want to listen to someone gasping for breath.
Well, no. How do you feel about it in
Hot take, guys.
Yeah. How do you feel about it in gosh, what's the song? It's the Cure song, but you know which one I mean.
Hot, hot, hot.
Yeah. Yeah. He does it like very exaggeratedly in that song. First time I saw. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he's like crazy about it.
The only song I like that in, Sarah, is Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode.
Oh, okay.
When they do that breathing section. Yep. I like that.
Well, okay. Yeah. He's very breathy. Down in the city at night. It's like really, yeah, it's almost like an obscene phone call, right? But I have to admire his restraint and his ability to do that, because he could sing normally. You're like, he should sing normally. Yes. But he was trying something new, trying to restrain himself and fit with the mood of the song. And I think it worked. It's like he's breathing out the fog that you feel in the air. Now, again, do I want to hear it? No, I don't want to hear it either. Honestly, I can't argue with, your dislike of the song. You don't want to hear it. I don't either. But I am going to keep defending them for trying it and trying to display their technical prowess, because that's what they're doing here. They're showing the world that they are not just a bunch of pretty faces. They're showing their record company, we can do all kinds of different things. Check this out. So I get what they're doing. Doesn't mean I like it.
One of the things that we mentioned earlier is that a lot of these songs are angst-filled lyrics about the fact that Paul is separated from his girlfriend. This is pretty much the same.
Right.
Only this one, more so than what has come before it, is rather juvenile.
Yeah.
And what it offers lyrically is made creepy by the fact that it's being sung by this super breathy.
Yeah. It's like a creeper out in the dark alleys of London, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. In the city at night. Ooh.
His delivery makes no sense to me. Sometimes he's cutting off his syllables, making each syllable very brief and abrupt, like when he sings Sleepless English Town. And then sometimes he stretches the sounds out to make them sound disconcerting.
Yeah.
In like when he says summer fades away. Sometimes things are getting cut and sometimes things are being stretched out. And you never know what he's going to go with on each line.
Yeah. It's inconsistent or it's unpredictable.
It is.
So I have to laugh. You're full of tension and dislike, I guess, for this song. But what it says about this song in the book, down to the tracks, it says, October served as some light relief after the album's tension-filled triumvirate.
I was dancing, I was bopping, I was having fun singing. Those first 3 songs were great. The tension for me doesn't start until this song kicks in.
I thought, this isn't light relief. It's maybe light, like I said, like easy listening, but it's still, I think you're right. It's not even easy listening because nobody in easy listening, nobody sings like this. Nobody. So I don't know. Light relief, huh? And I don't want a break from those 3 songs. I like that. I'm good with it. Let's keep going in that same vein. I'm fine with that. I don't need a break from that tension and that excitement and that energy. Now we're being covered in fog and dreariness and I don't like it.
If they wanted to go to a ballad, if they wanted to bring the energy level down, that's fine.
Sure.
Ballads are on albums all the time.
Right.
It's just this weird song that does bring the energy down and they're trying to set a mood and atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I just am thinking that they're not being successful, at least for me. There are other things that I don't like about the song. I mentioned some of it already, but the drums to this sound to me like they should be in a demo. Like it seems like they didn't really change it much, make it sound more professional.
Yeah.
And I like cheap electronic drums. I just don't like these. The choice of keyboard voices seems to have been given very little thought.
That's in my head, and it just sounds so cheesy.
It does. The track sounds cheap, and the sound of this track musically is that 80s sound that people think of when they're making fun of the 80s.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate because listen to the song before this, I've Been Losing You. A very different sound, one that has aggression to it. It's 80s sounding, but it doesn't sound like the 80s. It sounds good.
Right.
I mentioned a website last time called Nirvana. If you remember that?
Yes, that's right.
It's not quite Nirvana, but it's as close as you can get. Or something like that was their slogan. They said when they were talking about this album, they said the next 2 tracks are also well worth the purchase price. I just wanted to include that in there because they're saying that this song is worth the purchase price of the album. October is a somber but catchy number which relies on Morton hissing and sighing through much of it in order to give it an angle as such. However, one can't deny this rather pleasing tune is as relaxing as it is charming.
Oh, my.
So I will deny, even though they say one can't, I will deny that this song is neither of those things.
Okay.
I find myself unable to relax at all because of all the breaths. Is that a personal preference? Sure. Because I know that there are people listening who love this song.
Yes.
And they're not bothered by the vocal. And they are welcome to express their opinion on it. We have our voicemail number.
That's right.
We'd love to get your opinion on the song. We'll play it right in the show. Point and counterpoint.
That's right.
That would be great. Different strokes for different folks. But for one person, for that writer to say one can't deny it is silly. I'll deny that thing until my last breath, my last normal volume, not directly into the microphone breath, Morton. That's the breath that I'll fight until.
Okay. All right.
So how massive would side 1 of this album be without this track? 4 songs, all of them up there with the best the band has ever done, and no embarrassing clunker of a song smack in the middle to mess up the flow. There's no crime in releasing a 9-song LP. And to this day, I wish a-ha had done that very thing. In my mind and in my heart, this is a-ha's worst song.
Wow.
Our voicemail number is 724-490-8324, or go to speakpipe.com/permrecordpod and let me know if you disagree with me. Be happy to play your opinion here on the show.
Okay. Now we're like talk radio, unpopular opinions. And
No, Sarah, because it's trying to encourage discussion.
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys think.
I bet that'll work. Have to say, I do not like this song either. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I know what you were trying to do. Just didn't work for me.
Now, I did just say, if you were listening carefully, side one would have been made up of, if they left this off, 4 songs, all of them up there with the best that the band has ever done.
Yeah, I think you showed your hand.
So I did. Showed my cards here a little early as we go on to the last song on side one, which is called Manhattan Skyline. So, of course, this is a song that we saw them perform live just 2 months ago in New York City, Sarah.
Really? That's not how I remember it.
Yeah, we did not. I guess maybe it was too obvious for them
Yeah.
to go to New York City and play Manhattan Skyline.
Yeah, it would have made sense, but I guess they hadn't rehearsed it, so oh well.
I guess not. So this song was released on February 16th, 1987,
Yes.
as the album's third and final single, at least for most of the world.
Right, exactly. That's exactly the notes I have. For most of the world, this was the third and final single released from the album.
I think we talked about it at some point earlier in this discussion. Not 100% sure why we would have done it, but I think we did mention that Maybe was released as a single in Bolivia.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why they chose that one song in that one country, but yes, that is true.
Yeah. If someone happens to know why it was chosen for Bolivia, let us know, because then we'll have the answer to that by the time we get to talk about it in a future episode.
That's right.
So
Yeah. So
help us out if you have that information.
yes, please.
But this song was released for most of the world as the third single. Did pretty well. It was number 3 in Ireland. Ireland actually liked it more than Norway did.
Yeah.
Norway took it to number 4. It was close,
But
the Irish liked it just a little bit more. Number 13 in the UK, number 16 in Belgium, and number 28 in West Germany. I didn't see a US single listed on Discogs, so it appears that the American label had given up by this point.
Yeah. I don't think it was released in the US at all.
But here's the thing. I was reminded of this as I was reading an AV Club article about the movie, and then I was like, I did see that in the film. There's a scene in the movie where they discuss the marketing error in the US, which they felt was to release Manhattan Skyline as a single with all the tempo changes and the vocal shifts. They were hoping that it would prompt comparisons to progressive tracks, kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody, but it ultimately didn't do well for them. So they talk about it like it was released in the US. But when I went on Discogs, they have no listing for a US single.
Same here. I looked and it wasn't listed. When I look on the discography, of course, there's a blank for the US column for this song. Doesn't surprise me that it wouldn't have charted, but I don't have any evidence that it was even released. Not even as a promo.
Right, same here.
I mean, not even as a promo, so that was pretty surprising.
Now, this was the first a-ha single not to break the UK top 10.
Yes.
Just like we said, only hit number 13. But don't worry, fans. They will be back there again with their next 2 singles, The Living Daylights and Stay on These Roads.
Oh, that's good.
Their run at the top is not over.
That's excellent. Woohoo!
So, Sarah, do you have any reviews of this song?
I have a Smash Hits review.
Bum, ba, bum.
Ta-da! Okay, so my Smash Hits review is by Lola Borg from the February 11th, 1987 issue. And here's what she says. Just when you think you can have a little snooze because a-ha have dished up another Eurovision Song Contest type ditty, something dreadful happens. The gentle musings about umbrellas flying are interrupted and a Slade record suddenly appears from nowhere. Except for, of course, it's not Slade, because you can still hear the little tinkly bits. This is a really very strange indeed, jumping about madly between quiet bits and lots of crashing drums. What has come over them?
That's it?
And that's it. Yeah, that's her review.
There's no like
No stars.
2 stars out of whatever.
No, they don't give star ratings usually for singles, and she just is baffled by this song.
She is baffled by it.
What is going on?
That is funny.
What has come over them?
I like that she said you can still tell it's them because of all the
Tinkly bits.
tinkly bits.
Yeah.
Which is true. So I have a review much after the fact from the website Pop Matters, and they say mini epic Manhattan Skyline alternates a soft, earnest verse with an angry, hard-rocking chorus, and then goes over the melodramatic top with a love-mad Harkett protesting, "How can you say that I didn't try? You know that I did," sounding very much like he's about to snap. Mind you, this was before Death Cab for Cutie or Dashboard Confessional were old enough to grow facial hair. The birth of emo or not, it's thrilling stuff that holds up well after a couple of decades. So I like to see that they see value in the song even 30 years down the road. And it also reminded me of something we talked about in our very first episode. One of the magazines had mentioned that a-ha, to a certain extent, can be seen as like a starting point for young goths. Like before you start listening to Joy Division and Depeche Mode and The Cure, you get in on the ground floor with a-ha. They're sort of saying that same thing, saying that these were the forerunners to bands like Death Cab and and Dashboard Confessional. So I like the fact that they give them some credit that they do deserve. I agree.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I don't have any other reviews from the time period, but I did take a little snippet out of Ned Raggett's blog entry on Scoundrel Days. His blog is called What Was It Anyway? And he wrote a big, long article about Scoundrel Days, and this is what he says about Manhattan Skyline. It's a-ha's big old rock song. Riffs piled on in the first part of the chorus after serenely tense verses. Harkett's seemingly calm take on a breakup suddenly turning into rage. But this is well-sculpted, very well-sculpted rage. He doesn't growl or scream in these verses. He wails in perfect counterpoint, which makes the second part of the chorus, when the feedback drops back, the tempo slows down, and he turns everything into an operatic aria in miniature. Or is it Roy Orbison? Scott Walker? Someone else entirely?
So I guess the second part of the chorus is the "How can you say that I didn't try?"
Yeah.
Is that what that is? He has a lot to say about this album.
Yes, he does.
He really loves this record.
He really does.
So I'm not surprised that he is a fan of this tune. So you mentioned Record Mirror.
I looked in my one archive resource for the 2 issues that I would have thought would have that review because I know it exists, but I couldn't find it. Wasn't listed.
Yeah, I checked all the issues for this month and didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where it would have been. But I did notice as I was reading them that Record Mirror had 2 columns in one issue, the index column and the lip gossip page that concerned themselves with a-ha at this time period. So I just wrote those down. Even though they don't talk about the song, this is what was going on in the world of a-ha at this time. Well, at least the stuff that was going on in the world of a-ha that caught the attention of Record Mirror. So the index column says, "The sweet smell of 1,000 pairs of newly wetted knickers wafted down London's Oxford Street as screaming a-ha fans converged on the HMV shop to get a good lustful look at the gleaming Adonis figures of masterful Morton, mesmerizing Mags, Swoon, and pert little Paul. A near riot occurred when some fans, having purchased an album especially to have it signed by the terrific trio, found they had upped and left by a side door."
Scandal. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. What writing.
And then in the lips gossip column, they say, "Seen ligging around this week was Morton from a-ha. He actually braved it into one of London's trendy watering holes for a swift half pint of orange juice in the wake of his assault the day before in Oxford Street's HMV shop, where the sons of Scandinavia were besieged by the biggest crowd since Duran Duran." So the magazine was very focused on seeing what they were doing and reporting on it, but they didn't seem to want to talk about the song at all. Are you familiar with the word ligging?
No, I don't know that word.
I didn't know it either. Ligging.
Okay.
It means to attend a function in order to take advantage of free entertainment and refreshments.
Oh, really? Okay.
So like a freeloader.
Yeah.
So that's how they see Morton.
Yeah, he's right. He's only there for the free orange juice. Jeez. Oh my gosh.
So I didn't come up with a review from Record Mirror, but that is what I saw in those pages.
Okay.
It seems like right around this time that Depeche had released Stripped.
Oh, nice.
because that was the single of the week or whatever they call it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I saw the single of the fortnight in Smash Hits the same time that this review came out was Skin Trade by Duran Duran.
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah, yeah. They actually gave it a very good review, too.
So we have in the past talked about, how they dip into their bag of old songs that they have, and they come up with skeletons of songs that they develop into tracks for this album. This song also has kind of a interesting origin.
Okay.
In that it is famously the result of two different songs just sort of being smashed together, sort of cut and pasted together.
Yes.
And I'm sure you know this, but Mags wrote the mellow part.
Yeah.
And Paul wrote the harder rockin' stuff. The success of this arrangement here, the fact that this is a very beloved song in the a-ha catalog, and the fact that the song did do very well in the charts, and the fact that Paul says that this is his favorite song on the album, this or the title track, all that together makes me very shocked that in the a-ha movie, which keeps being brought up today, but Paul was very angry about the very same thing happening decades later.
Yes.
In the case of the 2009 song Foot of the Mountain.
That's right.
Which I really, really love.
I love that song too.
And in that film, Paul says something about he is going to refuse to play that song live because Mags and Morton took something that he had written and just kind of combined it with something that Mags had to come up with that song. And he hated that. Knowing that they've done it before, that there's a precedent for it, I'm not sure why he's so upset about it. It seems like he's calmed down anyway, because I know that in late April or early May, they started playing that song again in concert.
We missed it, but...
Yeah, they didn't play it for us, but the fact that this song was written that way made me think about that and makes me a little sad because I would have liked to see that song.
Oh, I know. I would have too. I guess we did get to see it back in 2010, and that was good. So you are exactly right about the construction of this song. From the book that I got from you down to the tracks, this is what it says. The music was written by both Mags and Paul, and the lyrics are all Paul. Like the Beatles' classic We Can Work It Out, Manhattan Skyline can be defined as a deft exercise in cut and paste songwriting, and one that features a canny composite of clearly distinct parts that deftly alternate between nostalgia and angst. Unified by Paul's eloquent but near schizophrenic lyrics, the track fuses the beauty and whimsy of Magna's waltz-time verses with the guitarist's more raucous, rock-based choruses. The band were so impressed with the track that they insisted on its release as a single. However, Warner Brothers were reportedly unhappy with releasing a near 5-minute track as a single, and the band were forced to edit the track for benefit of the radio.
Yes, that's right. I have in my notes, speaking of the cutting part of cut and pasting, the single version removes the "you see things in the depths of my eyes" section.
Right.
And sounds really weird if you've listened to the album version for most of your life.
It does.
Which evidently I have done. I must not listen to the greatest hits.
No.
Because that edit of that song really, really stood out as incomplete.
It really bothers me too. They took out a very important couplet. You see things in the depths of my eyes that my loves run dry. I feel like that's an important couplet in the story of the song. And did it really make the song that much shorter? The album version is 4:52. The single version is 4:10. Would it have made any difference in its performance on the charts if it were that much longer? You know, the song was already pretty different, so they were already risking kind of getting it airplay anyway. So why not just go for it and release the whole song? It's just another example of me not understanding record company decisions sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. And every time you see something like that, you know, you think of all the terrible decisions, like the Bohemian Rhapsody thing, where the label would not release it because it was long.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
come on. Really?
Your artist knows better.
Yeah, they made this song for a reason. They made it this way for a reason. Why won't you support them? Oh, it's so annoying. Now,
something that I've often wondered, what would these two tracks have sounded like if they were never brought together? I mainly am interested. I would love to know what Mags's song would have ended up sounding like, because his first verse is building to something. Like as you listen to it, the music builds a little bit and it gets a little more powerful vocally as it's going. It's building to a chorus. And then in the real version, Paul's heavy guitar comes in. But what would Mags have gone with? Instead of that guitar, what would have happened?
Heavy harpsichord. I don't know.
Maybe a vibroslap. Maybe it would have been a vibroslap solo.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way to know. He probably himself doesn't know. But in
Yeah.
another universe, maybe that song exists and
Right.
it went to number 9.
What's number 9? Yeah, because, for all the demos and other versions of things that we get from them on those extended remastered versions of the albums that we have, I don't think we have an early version of this song.
There is a demo of it.
But it's not so early that these two parts aren't put together.
Right.
So I'm curious, and that they don't talk about that in the book. Sometimes they say, well, this was a Bridges song, or this was something that Paul did when he was 14. There's nothing like that in the book. There's no information other than what I just read to you as far as the origin of this song. I'm curious too, like how much of it was actually done? Did the chorus build like that already? What was he going for? Yeah, of course, the Paul part, well, that's just, there wasn't a whole lot there. It's just a chorus.
When it starts rocking like that, I do like that synth part that just plays a couple notes.
Yeah.
I think that's cool sounding. Like I said,
the tinkly part.
the tinkly part. There we go. Paul has said, like I mentioned, that this and the title track are his favorite songs here. That's no surprise to me based on the bands that we listed in an earlier episode as his influences.
Right.
Doors and those kind of bands. It's no surprise that he has it in him to want to rock out, which he does here. I think he always looks like he's having fun when they play guitar-centered tracks live. If you keep your eyes on him, anytime he gets to play some power chords or a pretty rockin' solo, that's sort of when he comes to life.
And he doesn't even turn his back.
Yeah. So I think he likes the energy and the aggression that he can get out of the crunchiness of the guitar in this song. And I have to admit that I like it as well.
All right.
Luckily for us, Morton's vocals are back to being amazing with this track. Would you agree?
Of course. Yeah, he sounds like himself.
This is a song, I know that we mentioned this too earlier in this retrospective series, but this is a song that Morton discusses performing in the Aha movie about how he has trouble with it because it's all energy up, sung at 110%, and it's too much.
Yeah.
Not just for him, but for the audience, because he says that, we need some downtime to contrast those energetic highs against.
Yeah.
And they're working on the song backstage, and he's saying to Paul, it can't be at this level the whole way.
Right.
And the cool thing is, here in the studio version, I don't think there's an issue with that.
No.
So I don't know why they didn't I understand that they were in an unplugged format for that show.
Yeah.
But still, why not just
Can't you
do the song
replicate that
in-
to some extent in
Right.
an unplugged environment? Yeah. I know when we talked about the movie before, you said, oh, this is probably not the first time that they've had this argument. But it is strange to me that he had such a concern with the song that's been a part of their catalog for so many years. You haven't figured this out yet?
Yeah, the only reason it should have become a problem would be if the arrangement of it changed because of the format, the unplugged format. But if that is the case, just do it in the style that you're used to doing, that you have no issues with it.
Yeah.
It's very unusual.
Uh-huh.
But after his breathy lack of energy in the last song, this is a great change of pace to get him back to full-voiced, doing a great job. It's good to have him back. I'm glad he came in from the cold streets of that English town.
The sleepless English town of colored gray. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to tell you, I'm going to confess to you some things as I share my thoughts on this song.
Sarah, we're listening.
Good, because I'm going to lay it all out for you. Even though I know this is a fan favorite, it has never been one of my favorites.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. And I don't have a good explanation of why. I can't explain it. I can't put my finger on it. I love the first 3 songs. I don't like October. And then this one, I'm back on the upswing again, but it's nowhere near the level of appreciation that I have for those first 3 songs. Like I said, I don't know why. I can't say it's because it has different sections, because some of my favorite songs have multiple sections to them. A Day in the Life, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, Left to My Own Devices. I love those songs, but I've just never been particularly drawn to this song. And I've been very worried when we were first starting to talk about this album, like, what am I going to say about it? How am I going to talk about this? But when we did start preparing for this discussion and I started listening to the album again and more frequently, I had a revelation in the shower one day, as you do, right? How many great thoughts come in the shower? I was taking a shower and I heard the song and I was like, I think I understand what's going on here. This gives me a better appreciation for the song. I realized It's a person who's like calm on the outside and tormented on the inside. That's how it feels to me. So I don't know why it took me this long to figure it out, but I realized in that first verse, he's saying goodbye to this person. He says they shake hands and cry as they wave goodbye. But then in the chorus, he's wailing that he doesn't want to say goodbye, and he's certain that this is the last time that he'll see this person, and he's clearly broken up about it. But I think all of that is happening at the same time as the verses are happening, but that part's happening in his head.
Yeah, it's all internal.
Right.
That's a very cool idea. I never really thought about that.
Because it's, this conflict, he's like, yes, I know I got to go. I got to say goodbye, but I don't want to say goodbye. But he's not doing that. And that's his inside voice. Right.
Yeah.
That helped me to come to grips with it better and appreciate it more and like it more. And I know most people will say there are two distinctive sections to the song, the verse and the chorus, but I would say that there really are three. It's because of that part that we talked about with the couplet. There's elements of both of those other parts put together. There's the synthesizer sounds and the time signature used in the verses is that kind of a waltz type time signature. And then that's combined with Morton's powerful and emotive vocals used in the chorus. How can you say that I didn't try? What I don't know in my head is that part out loud or in his head? That I haven't figured out yet. So I know the verses are him out loud. That's him, how he's acting towards this other person. The other stuff is this torment and anguish inside. This combination section,
I would say that's internal as well.
I think it probably is, because I just don't think he was able to convey his true emotions to the person.
If that part was said aloud,
Yeah.
you would never be able to get back to the calmness of the final verse.
Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you. That is what has gotten me to a point where I can better appreciate the song.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain why I didn't really like it for all these years before that. I mean, it's not like I didn't like it. I just knew that I should like it more than I did. I recognized that. Mm-hmm. It was like bothering me that I couldn't embrace it as much as I knew I should. So that is what finally got it through to me that, oh yeah, this is like an internal versus external thing going on with the singer.
A couple great things about what you just said and your views on what this internal-external conversation. Firstly,
yes,
I suddenly look really good compared to you. I only complained about October.
I know.
You came on here and complained about Manhattan Skyline.
I know.
So
I realized that this was
our voicemail numbers are still the same as what they were 20 minutes ago.
I'm sure I'm going to hear about this. I'm quite sure I will.
Secondly,
sorry.
I have always loved this song.
Okay.
Well, I may be everyone's second favorite host, but maybe I'll move up on the rankings because I've always loved this one.
All right.
Thirdly, I really like your idea of the external conversation versus the internal monologue, and it was not anything that I ever really thought about because I had to laugh at myself today for my lack of understanding of this song lyrically.
Uh-oh.
Here's the thing.
Oh, boy.
Paul depicts himself as the passive one in his relationship so often, the sad one struggling with being alone and miserable. I have for 30 years, sung along with the song, and I have sung the line, I hear myself say, my boat's leaving now.
Yeah.
It made no impact on me because I have thought for 30 years that this song was the narrator being left on the dock as his significant other, the person he's in love with, leaves him. So I was looking at the lyrics today, and the last verse, I've come to depend on the look in their eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot understand. I cannot understand how any of these lyrics fit in with the song. And I was making a list of lyrics that I just could not grasp the meaning of. And I was starting to think, wow, this is a case of their English not being their primary language.
Oh, yeah.
It finally has come back to bite them in the butt because normally it doesn't affect it. But this song makes no sense. And then suddenly I saw that line again. I hear myself say, my boat's leaving now. And I'm like, his boat is leaving. He's leaving.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. So again, folks, that voicemail number. If you want to call and complain to Brian that he didn't understand the lyrics of the song for 36 years. Yeah.
I was like, I leave to their goodbyes. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? I suddenly understand it now today.
And some people will say this song is definitely about a breakup. Others are less certain about that. I think I'm in that camp because if we know what Paul is going through at this point in his life, he's in a long distance relationship, and his life has changed so much and so quickly in this past year as he's quickly risen to fame and he's on a world tour. He's probably very uncertain about a lot of things in his life. So as much as he wanted that relationship to continue, he also knew he wanted to continue pursuing his career goals. those two things were at odds with each other. And I think in this still new relationship, they were still learning about each other and, sometimes misinterpreting things. I think this is where there's sort of like this conflict. They don't know what's happening. And that's why those lines they omitted from the single version are so important to me. You see things in the depths of my eyes that my loves run dry. But that couplet is followed by the line, no, the first time Morton sings it. So it seems like to me that Paul is saying, no, you're wrong. You're seeing things like, quote, seeing things like, you're misinterpreting what you see in my eyes. It's not that my love has run dry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that was another take I got from listening to this again. And he's just like, I have to go and do this. What's the New Horizons? I forget.
So I read to myself, a chance of a lifetime to see new horizons.
Right. He's like, I don't want to leave, but I know that I have to. It's tearing me up inside, but I'm not going to let you see that. That's really what it is about to me.
Yeah. Paul is the one making the move that's causing the problem in the song. And it's just something that I was not used to seeing in his lyrics. So unlike you, Sarah, I have always enjoyed this song. This song stood out to me as something different when I first started listening to the album. I had known songs that had different and varied sections, like Bohemian Rhapsody and Band on the Run, to name two different ones than what you mentioned.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really aware of an 80s pop song that had done that same sort of thing.
Right.
So it was exciting to listen to something like this. Now, as a rule at that time period, I certainly didn't want to listen to guitar music.
Yeah.
But to hear one of my bands incorporating a heavy guitar in a song of their style, that was pretty cool. That guitar riff that shows up right after I'll Never See Your Face Again is pretty thrilling. I mean, it has a great high energy, emotional rock and roll sound to it.
Yes.
And it really connected with me. I liked it a lot.
It conveys the emotion a lot better than the harpsichord type synthesizer sound, right?
Indeed, it does. And I've seen the label prog rock assigned to this song before. And, and while it's not like the 17-minute epic that traditional prog rock bands record, like Yes and Porcupine Tree and stuff like that, I think it does deserve to be classified as such. It's 80s progressive pop.
Okay.
It's because of the transitions to the various sections, how one section might bleed into the next a bit through some of the music. You mentioned how that third section keeps the time signature from the first section with, some of the guitar of the second section. It's very intelligent, very intelligently written on a musical level and filled with drama that is just inherent to the song. And a lot of that comes from the way that it's recorded and what they're playing musically.
Yeah, I would agree. And I do like that they combined those two elements because it helps to transition back to the verse. You get the first verse, then you get the chorus, which is like completely a different style. And then we get the end of that chorus, which starts taking you back to the other style. It's very well constructed. It really is.
Yeah, and you need something because when you're putting a song together through a cut and paste method like this, you can't just go slow, fast, quiet for a beat, back to slow. Like it's got to transition logically and in a catchy way that the listener is going to enjoy.
So that it doesn't sound like an accident or a mistake.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's very intelligently constructed. I will say that.
Now, after our discussion on the really disappointing video for I've Been Losing You, it was nice to have this video to watch today.
Yes, it was.
Now, while it's not a classic, it's competently filmed, it's nicely edited, it's interesting to watch. Although that last minute might cause you to have a seizure if you're susceptible to flashing lights and things like that.
Yeah.
These days, anything that's filmed like the end of this video has to have a little warning in the beginning.
It does.
That wasn't a thing in the 80s. But it does go a little crazy at the end. But I thought this was a really enjoyable video. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was certainly a very big improvement from the previous one we discussed. It was by Steve Barron, so, we know he does good work. I think he's worked with a-ha before.
He had done all of the a-ha videos to this point, except for Train of Thought, and I've Been Losing You.
Yeah, so he has a very good track record. And what's interesting is the book, Down to the Track, says that this video was partly influenced by Terry Gilliam's dystopian cult classic Brazil.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I actually would not know whether it was or not. I've never seen Brazil.
I haven't either.
So I thought that was interesting. I like how this was set up. The video follows sort of with the song because there are different sections to the video as well as there are for the song, right?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, so they're beginning, the verses are this animation of kind of connect the dots images of the band members. And I think that's a really neat effect. Sort of harkens back to the rotoscope drawing that they used in Take On Me. I don't know, because it's animation. It's just simple images of the band. And then when the chorus kicks in, the images change to that dotted resolution of a newspaper page. And the band members are now appearing in boxes that look like photos on a newspaper. And they're newspapers that are from all over the world, because sometimes it looks like it's Japanese. Sometimes I think we see French, English language stuff. It's kind of neat. And then there's that third section at kind of the end of the chorus. And then it changes again to more animation that looks like newspaper pages rolling off the presses. So
that was a cool effect.
Yeah, that actually was done pretty well. You think, back in 1987, that might have not come out so good, but I think they did a pretty good job of making that look decent. And then the second verse is not back to the connect the dots, but it's them in boxes of a crossword puzzle as words from the song are filled in as answers on the puzzle, like wave and goodbye. So that was kind of cool. It's like they have a crossword puzzle theme going on with their first two albums, right? Because they're train of thought, crossword puzzles. And then the second chorus is yet another different images because they're in a tunnel lined with newspapers with that strobe light effect going off and all kinds of newspapers blowing around in their faces. It looked really chaotic. So it's very, very crazy. And they kept that up through the next section, and then it ends with close-ups of the band members before it fades to the front page of a newspaper showing a picture of a city, presumably Manhattan, since it says Manhattan Skyline at the top, but it looks like it's in pretty bad shape. It's hard to tell because stupid YouTube.
Yes, I know. And I think some of the headlines on that page talk about members of the band. But you can't see it because there's like 3 different in-video links that cover up most of the screen.
Right.
You're not able to see really what's on that
so
newspaper.
Annoying.
Very annoying. Yeah, when it started and they were doing that connect the dots thing, it's sort of like the puzzle pages of a newspaper, connect the dots and crosswords and all that kind of thing. My initial thought was, they're trying to be clever again. Unfortunately, it's going to pale compared to Take On Me because that's just one of the best videos ever.
Yeah.
And so this connect the dots thing is not going to be very good. But once they moved on to the more complex effects, like all the different, it's not dot matrix printing, but you know, the old style printing that is made up of different shades.
Yeah, I can't think
dots.
of the name of it.
I was really enjoying it. That was probably my favorite part, that hard rocking section where we see them perform within the borders of the newspaper pictures, which was cool. Morton looks super dreamy in the crossword puzzle section.
Yes, he did.
He's sitting there by himself in the square, kind of standing, leaning against it, singing.
It's like, hey, baby.
He looked really cool. But my favorite part of the video is that wind tunnel section with the flashing lights, because all the activity there, the flashing lights, the wind blowing newspapers in their face, it adds energy to an already exciting part of the song. And it's a treat to get to see Paul do his Guitar Hero act, because that's where he plays the cool riff and
that's right.
a little bit of a solo. So he's doing it there in a wind tunnel, which is a great
Always.
rock and roll thing.
Yeah, you get guitars and winds and flashing lights, man. You've got it all, right?
Yep. So I at the end of the day, I really dug this video. And when it started, I didn't think I was going to. I was like, oh, no, that's another attempt to try to be clever with animation. And they need to get over it. Like they had that one really successful one. Quit trying to go back to that well. But this is a fun one.
Yeah, I think it's different enough and interesting enough to keep your attention. And I really enjoyed it as well. Of course, especially compared to the previous one. And it's just a shame that they did not have the time to make such a good video for that other song. I'm going to say that again because I really think that video does not do the song justice. I think this video does a much better job of doing the song justice.
You think I've Been Loosing You doesn't do justice to the song? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Definitely deserved a better video.
It really did.
I've Been Loosing You?
Loosing You.
Yeah. So this is a track that I sometimes forget because it's something outside of the ordinary for this band. I think if I started listing their singles at random for someone, it might take me a bit before I remember that this one exists. But that doesn't mean that I don't love it. This is a great song, and I rank it at number 3 when I score all the tracks on this album. They fear it may have turned off some of the folks who were looking for a clean pop sound at the time. Well, I bet at the same time it attracted some listeners who were looking for something more than a standard 3-minute pop tune in the mid-'80s. Somebody who was yearning to hear something a little bit more intelligent and different than what was on the radio. So I think that they should have no regrets over the decision to release this song. It's a great tune.
Okay, I like it.
All right, so that is going to wrap up our discussion for today on AHA.
Well, we finished side
Scoundrel
1.
Days. That's right, we finished side 1.
All right.
So we're going to take a break. You know, in our last episode, we had a voicemail from Michael suggesting to us that we start listening to Suede,
Yes.
or the London Suede as they're called here in the U.S., and it opened a floodgate of messages, emails, Facebook messages of people saying,
Yes.
Suede is great, you've got to listen to him, Michael was right. And, you know, my friend Tim had already been telling me to do that for a while, but so many people whose taste in music I respect said, like,
Yes.
they're one of my favorite bands, you've got to listen to them. So just so you guys know, I bought 4 Suede albums, and
Because you can't just start with 1. No, you got to go buy 4.
And I was busy trying to get ready for this episode, so I only had time to listen to one of them. So I listened to the album Coming Up twice, and I dug every song on it. All 10 songs are good. Listened to it twice, loved them all each time. So Suede's off to a great start with me, guys. I have 3 more things to listen to, so we'll see if they continue this path of impressing me.
Okay.
I'm sure they will. So thanks to all your suggestions on a new band to get into, because I needed a new band to get into.
I know, for sure.
All right, so we're going to be back in a couple weeks. We're going to continue on to side 2, flip the record over, and start with another great single. But in the meantime, why not take this opportunity? If you are not already, give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're on all of those pages. And after talking with our friend TJ last time and talking about Instagram, I have been on Instagram, I think, every day since I released that episode, that Tears for Fears episode.
Oh, that's very good.
So I'm going to endeavor to do better on Instagram.
Okay.
Still can't log in on my laptop, but I can get on my phone.
Okay.
So,
Baby steps.
so throw us a follow there, especially if you haven't. That'll motivate me maybe to do a better job with it.
Yeah, I'll try to help out with that too. Something else you could do for us that we would really, truly appreciate is to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. They really do help us out. We had some good reviews a while back now, and that actually did make a difference in our searchability and in our ratings. So if you can take the time to throw some stars our way and give us a few nice words, that would be really, really helpful. It does make a difference, and we thank you in advance. And we'll read it here.
And finally, we had another person buy a t-shirt from our Redbubble shop this week, Sarah.
Oh my gosh.
Someone bought that cool illustration that our friend Jose did, which is you and I kind of jumping through a musical portal. I love that picture.
I do too.
So I'm glad that someone got that on a t-shirt.
Thank you.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, you could check out our Redbubble shop. Just go to redbubble.com and search for Permanent Record Podcast or Blue Zone Network, and you'll see we have a couple cool designs that you can throw on t-shirts or
tote bags or mugs
and,
or a number of different items.
And we've had a number of people support us that way over the past few months, which has been a great treat, a great surprise. The money from that goes into, you know, reinvesting it into the show and our monthly hosting charges. So we really do appreciate it. It helps us out greatly.
It does indeed.
So thanks to everyone who recently picked up a shirt.
Yay, shirts.
So I guess that's all we have. I'm going to go listen to a little more Suede before I retire for the evening.
All right.
Sarah, we'll meet here again in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about side 2 of this record. Should be good.
Yes, I can't wait.
Well, thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Take care.
My blood sweet for pain, wind and the rain brings back words of a song, and they say lay goodbye, lay goodbye, lay goodbye, lay you know, I don't wanna fall again. I don't wanna know this pain. I don't want another friend. I don't wanna cry again. Don't ever wanna see you hurt. Don't let me see you hurt. Don't ever wanna see you hurt. Don't let me see you hurt. I don't wanna cry again, or never see your face again. How can you black and white picture of Manhattan skyline.
Oh, yeah.